what I would like to highlight is the role of women and how they are affected by climate change. For example, if you take women, they are more vulnerable for situations when it comes to disasters. And there is also the aspect of equity I would like to highlight, because that is also part of the process these days. And if you go back to Decision 36 of COP18 in 2001, it has specifically highlighted the inclusion of women and the concentration of women's issues in the UNFCCC process. And also there are other declarations, for example, like the Beijing Declaration, which has highlighted the inclusion of women, and also the Global South being focused when it comes to helping and development. So I wish to talk in that context, not specifically of separating women as a general.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, how does climate change issues affect women on the ground? Give me specific examples, perhaps in South Asia or beyond.
Yeah. For example, if you take South Asia, it's agriculture-based societies, and women play a key role in this process. And when it comes to women and men, there's always the context of being a mother that comes in, and how the obligations of being a mother also adds up to the effects of climate change. And women play a key role in the household. They take care of the children, they make the food, everything concentrates on women. So education of women is also very important, because it passes a message to the other generation. So it's not just about women per se, but it's also the awareness of children that comes into play when you talk about women.
Right. I mean, is the debate as it stands at the moment, is it encompassing these issues? Is it covering the issues that you wish to cover, or do you feel the debate as it stands at the moment is limited?
Well, I think it's limited. I think there should be more concentration on women's issues, as in gender in general. And also, when we're focusing on equity, I think we should focus on women also. So what I would like to call for is more highlighting of the issues. For example, reproductive health, and also Article 6 of education, where there's a component of women, female children included. And also about, for example, transfer of not necessarily technology, I wouldn't say that, but when it comes to developing aspect, to concentrate on women and the representation of women in the negotiation process, for example, maybe delegations and also the civil society organizations, how they are represented in whole.
Right. I mean, that can be done at this level, at the COP level perhaps, at the international negotiating level. How do you then apply some of these attitudes, these measures on the ground? I mean, talk specifically again about South Asia. There are obviously difficulties, there's historical, perhaps religious obstacles in the way of women being represented fairly equally on the ground.
Yes. Well, for example, I represent Sri Lanka, so I wouldn't say women are discriminated in a high manner in Sri Lanka, because we have a 90% of literacy level. But if you take in South Asia as a whole, then there are a lot of women who are not literate, and there is also a lot of people who are poor, where women are not the main focus when it comes to education, and then women do not have access to information. So I think the country should focus their legislations, whichever that is relevant to the international legislations, more on women and giving right to women as a human rights perspective. And maybe it could be incorporated with CEDAW and then the rights of the child. Those international treaties are to be incorporated when they're focusing on climate change in general.
And what specifically would you like to see out of COP18? What could move the debate on in the next week and a half?
Well, I would like to see a focus on equity, and possibly, hopefully, a separate track for equity being incorporated into the system, and also maybe the mandate of gender. I know that the gender unit is calling for a special mandate, or they have a declaration on it from what I've read. So that focuses on all the issues that is concerning women. So I would like to see that taken into note and maybe carried forth for the next sessions that are coming ahead.